Wow!
Hi! Welcome to Oblivion. Is this the end?
A few months ago, a peculiar indie title swept across the internet. Now, mind you, this game in particular had been out for a few months. But with a recent explosion, it was everywhere you looked. Baldi Basics, an education and learning, an edutainment horror game that featured a monotone bald fellow who tried to murder you with a ruler. How nice. It was the perfect mix of strategy and nervous anticipation that made this a favorite among Let's Players and streamers. It was just short enough too that anyone could pick up and play it, and get a complete experience out of it. The best players were given access to a secret ending. And from that point forward, I was hooked on the story. Now mind you, you're probably thinking, what story? Many people, including myself, have been trying to piece together the nonsense to figure out what, if anything, is going on. And with every update and hint thrown our way, it seems what started out lacking a story was beginning to develop into one. And the future of Baldi Basics looks pretty neat. Very recently, Micah, the developer of the series, has launched a crowdfunding campaign to raise funds in order to turn Baldi Basics into a full-fledged game. A game with multiple areas, field trips, characters, etc. And during this campaign, we can see all sorts of neat things. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. For those who watched my last video about Baldi's dark descent into the woods, you know that I dove into the latest teaser screenshots from the game and tried to break them down. I talked about how this setting felt all too familiar, given Baldi drawing inspiration from Slender the 8 Pages. With that in mind, I used that to help set the stage for what to expect in the camping update. And I was completely wrong. What I thought would be a maze of trees was an open, explorable forest that you could navigate. For some reason, Baldi dragged you, and you alone, out into the middle of the woods, and then told you to go gather firewood. But not before lining the entire forest with bear traps. But the thing is, there aren't any bears here. It's only you. And if you gather too much wood and linger too long in the woods, Baldi hunts you down. He weaves in and out of trees until he eventually kills you. It's totally like The Most Dangerous Game, a book I reference often on this channel. A person who seems friendly gains your trust, only to toss you out into the wilderness with the intention of hunting you down. I mean, we should have even known that something was up, because even the bus we rode in on appears to be stolen. The owner of the bus, who is apparently named Joe, is nowhere to be found. His name is crossed off, and apparently Baldi hijacked this bus. For all we know, he's lying in a ditch somewhere with a giant ruler slash under his neck. Baldi's list of deadly deeds grows longer. The camping trip I mentioned before is just a demo though, and as quickly as it begins, it ends. It's only one of many field trips planned for the game, from corn maze chases to surviving a water treatment plant, all of which sound like absolutely awful experiences. If we dive into some of the updates on the page though, things are definitely going to change. A new currency system is being added called You Thought Points, which are basically rewards for answering math problems quickly, completing field trips, etc. They can be spent on items or used to change aspects of the game, like banishing characters into the Shadow Realm. Beyond this, the school's getting a lot bigger, and I mean a lot. No longer will it be just one floor. Apparently the idea is to have an elevator that takes your character to different floors as you progress through the game. The school will be a towering building, with floors increasing in size as you ascend. Given that, logically the school will probably look like an alien structure of some sort, an upside down pyramid that keeps increasing in width. Of course, that's applying logic to something illogical. Regardless, I think the concept is pretty neat. But with these extended halls are going to be new characters we have yet to encounter. The developer joked around about including a character called Dr. Reflex, who would try to slow you down. Once he grabbed you, you'd have to input a button to break free. Otherwise, he'll hold you there similar to playtime. I believe his response will be extremely delayed though, similar to the comic that was shown below it. There may be many secret characters as well, that might not actually appear in normal gameplay, but they can be found as Easter eggs. Now all of this sounds super exciting, except there's one problem with all of this. Obviously, judging by the title of this video, you were probably expecting some sort of twist. And this one is actually pretty important, because as it stands right now, none of this may actually happen. Baldi's Basics could very well be over. Let me explain. During this entire video, I've been referencing things from the official Kickstarter of Baldi's Basics. Everything mentioned is hopes and dreams for the game. The truth is, the developer is currently working a full-time job, and can't focus on the game like they want to. Majority of their week goes to working their day job, and college is on the horizon for them. Making a game is expensive, and I think a lot of fans were surprised when he asked for $50,000 to create it. But here's the thing, $50,000 for making a game isn't much at all. Immediately, a large portion of this goes to Kickstarter fees, taxes, and beyond that, he also has to pay the credit card processing fees for anyone who pledges. That's a pretty hefty chunk. In addition, having the game boxes and physical copies manufactured isn't a cheap thing, especially if he has to do them in small batches. It's actually more expensive for individual items that way. I know this because I helped kickstart a game before, and I also host Kickstarter classes at conventions. I think the amount is discouraging to people who don't understand it, but in reality, it is only just enough to cover minimum expenses and let a single developer focus on the game for a year. And that's why we might very well be at the end of Baldi's Basics. If this Kickstarter isn't funded, the developer will go to college, probably on top of working a job. All of his out-of-school time will go to school projects, and Baldi's Basics will essentially fade away. I mean, honestly, we as a fan base have the ability to change this developer's life. He brought us this really fun and quirky game for free that we all enjoyed together. And if we lend him a hand, he's willing to make us an entirely new experience. But we have to support him in this endeavor. We only have 6 days to finish this, and there's still a lot of money that needs to be raised. If you can, please toss a few dollars at the Kickstarter so we can make it a reality. If you can't, please consider spreading the word over the web. Perhaps someone you inform will be able to help the cause. I will be extremely sad if this Kickstarter fails because Baldi's Basics brought so much joy to so many people. Let's join together and make this thing a reality. So if you want to help, please check out the link in the description below to check out the Kickstarter. I imagine the developer will see this video at some point too, so why not leave a comment talking about what you love most about Baldi's Basics? I think it will certainly make his day. And with that, thanks for tuning in for this sorta dire situation. I really want to see this become a full game, so I'm hoping it can get there. I pledged towards the early demo tier, so you can certainly expect some early access breakdowns from me. Anyways, thanks for watching guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers.